Welcome everyone and thanks for joining us. So this is a subset of our corporate presentation, so please go onto the website and look at the full presentation, drilling results, disclaimers, etc. And as noted here, to kick off, we are both TSX and ASX listed with also an OTC platform. Yep, normal disclaimer. So here's a bit of a quick summary and as we'll get into detail. So we are a very, very straightforward gold greenfields explorer. Right? So we don't have a project that we're doing a resource drill out. We are a greenfields explorer. At the end of June, we had about 12 million Australian in the bank, and we've got an investment portfolio of around about 46 million Australian. As I said, we're dual listed and we've got some supportive shareholders, which we'll talk about. We've got quite a diverse portfolio. We love drilling. We have multiple projects, and we'll talk about those. One of our key projects, assets, is working with De Grey on our Besha project, and we'll talk about that. That's a great project. They're investing $25 million of exploration over 4 years on that project to earn 50%. So it's absolutely wonderful when you think of the mathematics. And we've, at the moment, given our portfolio, we've got a very active project generation program underway. We're looking for gold assets across the globe to support our portfolio going forwards. I put this in because we always talk about the gold price going up, but we sometimes forget about it. So I thought I'd chuck it in just so we'd all remember. It's been wonderful. It's brilliant. So here's our portfolio. Big position in the Pilbara, around about 7,000 square kilometres of land. We'll talk about that in a minute, and we'll go through those key projects that are in red. And down in Victoria, not too far from what we just heard with Mandalay, we've got the Belltopper Exploration Project, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Quick run through the balance sheet. We're dual listed, so out of the 355 shares that are on the market, about 100 million of those shares are traded as ASX CDIs. As I said, good cash position. We've got investment portfolios. Please look through our corporate presentation and also our financials. But essentially, we've got $46 million, mainly made up of unlisted investments that we hope to unwind early next year. A strong shareholder base. De Grey is 10%. Litam's a lithium miner in Western Australia. IMC's a very historic shareholder. Mark Creasy, many people would know him, an explorer, billionaire in Australia. First Centre is an institutional fund, and Crescat Capital, based here in Denver, is a big shareholder at 3%. So experienced board, it's quite a small board. We've done a board refresh and a downsizing in recent times. So Quentin still remains key in the project as a non-executive co-chairman. Greg Jones is a very experienced explorer in Australia, so he's joined the board last year. And more recently, Karen has joined the board as someone with finance experience. She's got an experience in juniors as CEO and CFOs. And our exploration challenge and direction is all led by Kaz DeLuca, who has a global experience chasing gold around the world. So here's the Pilbara. It's quite a large portfolio. It spreads over 450 kilometres. We are continually doing reconnaissance exploration. This portfolio was originally 3 years ago around about 10 to 12,000 square kilometres, and we've pulled it down to 7 as we've done reconnaissance work and also drilling and kind of kept the best, and we'll continue to do that. We'll really focus on the middle of this slide called the Egina Gold Camp, and also up on the coast, the Balla Balla. So I'll talk about those. The other thing to pick up is on the eastern side in orange, and then also on the coast in purple, we have lithium joint ventures. So our normal rationale is if we find non-gold things on our tenements, we like to joint venture them out with other parties. So here's that middle portion, the Egina Gold Camp. The top of the gold camp, which is that green circle, represents the Egina joint venture that we have in De Grey. And the light grey, steel grey picture here is the Malina Gold Project from De Grey. So most of you probably know De Grey, 2 billion market cap, 12.7 million ounces, DFS completed, looking forwards to final investment decision early next year. So we completed this joint venture with them. They invested $10 million in the company. But as I said, the joint venture is fantastic, $25 million expenditure over 4 years, 2,500 square kilometres, and that earns them a right of 50%. So this is a very serious strategic asset for our shareholders, and we've kept the upside with 50% of the joint venture. Very proactive. This year, De Grey alone has completed 40,000 metres of drilling. They completed 10,000 metres of drilling last year after taking over our work, and previously we'd done 30,000 metres. So the Becher is a big project. It's looking for Hemi-style projects, deposits and mineralisation, and it's a big area. We're chasing 20 square kilometres of tenure, using air core to try to narrow in where we should do the deep drilling on RC, and you can see here some of the results we've picked up, 8 metres at 4.74, but it has the same mineralisation characteristics as Hemi, a very large system running around 1.5 grams per tonne is Hemi, and we're looking for exactly the same thing here. So we'll keep that air core work going through De Grey, and hopefully we'll end up targeting later this year or early next year where we should do deep drilling. So on the southern portion of that edge of Gold Camp is 100% ourselves, or part of it is also a joint venture with Mark Creasy. So there's about 1,000 square kilometres that we're exploring here. It's had very little exploration done in the past, and even as we speak today, our exploration teams are camping at a couple of these sites doing soils and rock chips and structural mapping. Historically, as you can see here, the area has generated some good results, 8 metres at 4.2, 8 at 2.1, some good rock samples in previous historic stuff. So we like this area, we'll continue to do exploration. Having said that, the primary target that we started first is the Nunnery North area, and we've now done 2 phases of drilling at Nunnery. So this is Nunnery. It's a very long strike length of over 2 kilometres. We identified the area, primary discovery by Novo based on soils and rock chips, very high grade soils and rock chips. We completed a program in 2023. You can see that on the maps, focused on the highest grade area of the surface. Some really good intercepts, 6 metres at 6.12 and 11 metres at 2.52. You'll see the more detail in the corporate presentations or news releases. And then this year we've done a follow-up program of 34 holes, around about 4,000 metres, but spread across the red areas at different targets, trying to look for the lateral extent of this mineralised system. And some of the results have been quite good. 13 metres at 2.7, 11 metres at 2, 17 at 1.85, 9 metres at 2.52. So we're starting to get a bit of an understanding of what this mineralisation system is. There's no guarantee this will lead into a resource, but at the moment some of the information is very promising. And there's some, as you see at the bottom there, very interesting copper mineralisation in a porphyry target based on XRF results of the RC assay powders. So we've got a lot of interesting intellectual follow-up to do on this program. And we're to the point, and it's in the news release, so we've been able to do a reasonably good long section of the main lode and extended that mineralisation by 250 metres to around 500 metres. So very, very, very early days, like all of our projects, but we'll keep working that. So on the coast, I mentioned the area of Balla Balla. Balla Balla is interesting. So if you move south, you'll see Becher. That's the Egina joint venture that we have with De Grey. North of Becher, you'll see in the light grey, the De Grey tenements, surrounded by shear zones, the Malamus shear and other things. So the concept we have for Balla Balla, we quietly accumulated a package of 1,200 square kilometres along the coast, focused around the shoal shear. So the same Hemi-style concept of the shear zones bringing in the gold fluids is what we're looking for here. No one's done this work before. It is really super conceptualised, and we'll go drilling between now and Christmas, and we'll all cross our fingers that we're on a right model. Otherwise, we'll go and try something else. But that's what Greenfields exploration is all about, and the excitement of doing something new that people haven't done. So down in Victoria, we've got a small parcel of land, 22 square kilometres at Belltopper, so you can see that right in the middle. As mentioned in the previous presentation, it's in the middle of the Bendigo gold zone, which had huge gold production. You can see the numbers here. We're 50 kilometres south of Fosterville, which we all know. We completed a 6-hole drilling program this year. You can see some of the results there, 5.6 metres at 3.14 and 2 metres at 15.2 grams. So that was a very successful 6-hole diamond drill program of about 2,500 metres of drilling. From the work that we saw in the diamond core, we actually went back and re-logged all the historical core, and we actually discovered core that had not been assayed that we thought warranted re-assaying. and we actually did a substantial a number of reassays of primary core that had been not cut and assayed, and you can see some of the results here: 6 metres at 4.37 and 2 metres at 7.19. So a really cheap way to go and add to your resource base. So very useful to us. The next story you'll see here with Belltopper is very shortly we'll put all of this information together in a geological model. People will be able to see the 3D concepts of all the gold vein systems, the historical workings, but importantly we'll talk about our prospectivity of the area and what we think is a likely exploration target. So you'll see that come down the pipeline in the news flow. So just to kind of wrap up here, we're a totally greenfields gold explorer. We're looking for big systems, 1 million ounce type discoveries. We've got a pretty good strong balance sheet of cash to keep us going and some investments for next year. Great shareholder support with both ASX and TSX listings, which is really good. Same symbol on both ASX and TSX, NVO. As you've seen, we've got a diverse number of portfolios and projects within the Pilbara, and then on top of that we've got the Belltopper project in Victoria. The De Grey joint venture, the Edge in the joint venture, fantastic opportunity for our shareholders. Nothing beats neurology. It's only 28 kilometres away from the proposed Hemi project processing plant, which will be 400,000 to 500,000 ounces a year. And the De Grey team have been talking about a second processing plant at Whitnall, and this project's only 5 kilometres from that. And the De Grey team, you've got to really acknowledge the great work that they've done, and they're great joint venture partners for us. And as I said before, we're really focused on the next story for Novo, and we're out looking for gold projects across Australia, Canada and the United States to add to our existing portfolio. So thanks everyone for listening. Again, have a look at the corporate presentation and our website. So thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Michael. Anyone have any? We have time for some questions. Anyone have any questions for Michael? Going once, going twice. Sold. All right. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thanks, Rob.
Great presentation.